people who like to hear yourself over and over and over and over with a looper. I just filmed a massive video for the bigger brother of the RC5, the RC500. So if you really want to know which one of the Boss loopers to get, whether it's the RC5, which is the new one of the 3? I don't know. But the RC5, the RC10R, or the RC500, you can watch hours of me showing you every single detail of those things so you know which one to get. The RC5 looks like this. Thank you, Leslie. But also, Leslie, put it away. Yeah, well, that's still the pedal. Thank you. You weren't prepared for that. I know. Sorry. Leslie's up there switching for you people who are new here. So, the RC5 is insanely small. Well, it's a normal Boss pedal size, but it packs serious features into a tiny little pedal. And I'm going to show you the other ones. RC10R has the 200 series size, also stereo inputs, also control, also MIDI, and just like the RC5, it has these tiny little MIDI holes, which are new. It's like a little TRS plug going to a normal MIDI cable, and that's what allows the RC5 to have MIDI, because it's, if you go to the pedal side, Leslie, MIDI is actually in the back here. This is the MIDI cable right there. So MIDI in and out, power, USB to grab the files on a computer. There's the control input for 2 additional foot switches, stereo in, stereo out. It's insane what it packs in terms of features into this small pedal. It has drums, but they're pretty rudimentary and you only have a couple of grooves, a couple of kits. You do, however, have the ability to have odd time signatures, which you have only limited here, but this has tons of pre-programmed grooves, like hundreds. It's got tons of drum kits. In terms of drums, that's the one to get because it just sounds great. Also, it has the ability to send the drums out of output B, for example, into PA, mixing console, or your recording interface, and that sounds a lot better than sending it into your amp. And if you send them into your amp, this has presets to make it sound better depending on the cab and the amp you have. So it's meant to put the drums into your amp. It also has 2 tracks, which you can play at the same time, but they can be played after each other. And it is really meant as an accompaniment thing with the drums. The drums on the RC5 and the RC500 are nice, but they're more for you to have inspiration and then maybe turn them down or turn them off. On the RC500 has 2 tracks, which can be played at the same time or can be played consecutively. It has loop effects for stuttery stuff and cool things. It also has MIDI. It has a stereo in and out. It has control out. All that's the same on all the pedals, but this has mic input. If you want to do singy sing stuff or a shaky shake stuff or acoustic guitar with a mic in front of it, this is the one for you to get. Trust me, once you get this, you need to spend time with it because handling the 2 tracks and how they interact, how they sync or not sync, that really all takes time. All of them can be controlled with an external foot switch, which we're going to do. All of them can be controlled with MIDI, which we're going to do. And that makes the tiny pedal really interesting. So you can put it back on the screen, Leslie. Because yes, it's relatively small, she said, never. But it also can be controlled externally, which means that one clunky, big-ass, tough-to-press foot switch from Boss all of a sudden doesn't create a problem anymore. Oh, by the way, Boss is paying me to say all these negative things about Boss. I don't know why they do it, but they do. No, they wanted someone to do a deep dive manual. So we're going to go through every single menu. I'm going to explain everything to you. So if you're in the market for this, or you have it in your... You don't want to read a manual, have an idiot like me do it and explain it to you, and Boss pay for it. Boss, pay for it. However, doesn't mean I'm going to bitch. And we're going to start with a little bit of bitching right away because I love doing that. This is a story of the boss who cried wolf. You know what's coming, boss. Come on, you already heard it in the 500 video. So, Boss, for years, has been lying to us. They're saying you can only use their proprietary Power supply, we have a little sticker here, which I ripped off the pedal. It says, use Boss PSA adapter only. Which of course is utter bullshit. You can use any 9 volt with any Boss pedal and it works totally fine. Center positive or whatever, center negative, I don't know. Whatever the standard 9 volt thing is. Here, it's actually printed on the damn thing. Look at that. Okay, and obviously that's not true. So when Boss says, use only our power supply, or use only our accessory, we are weary. We're like, oh, wait a second. What? Apprehensive? What's the word, Leslie? I don't know. Careful. We don't believe. We're not believers. Now, I tried to control these things with MIDI and couldn't, because I have these mini TRS to MIDI cables, but apparently on the market they're different ones. There's ones for Chase Bliss, there's one for Strymons. Manufacturers have not agreed on which pole of the 5 MIDI poles goes to which part of the MIDI cable, of the TRS cable. So there is the proprietary Boss cable, which does not come with the pedal. None of them. Which I call lame. 50 cent to do, 50 cent, come on. It says it on there, big ass sticker, made in China, which is fine. And this is actually a better cable than my other ones. It's angled, it's more heavy duty, it's thicker, it's longer. So I recommend getting this cable. But if a website said, you have to use the Boss cable, which actually you do, because it only works with the Boss cable or the Type A cable, you wouldn't believe them. Because Boss has been saying you have to use our power supply for years and years and years. Boss, just be honest. It's not that difficult. Please, scrape that shit off your pedals. It's not, in this case, it's true. Now you have a situation where you told people you have to use our thing for years, and now nobody's believing you. I didn't believe you. Therefore, I sat there for a week having to wait for a stupid pedal for €18.50, and I had to buy 2. So, Boss, from now on, I'm challenging you guys. Take the use only the Boss PSA off the pedals. I'm going to start a petition. Okay, now on 2 more things. Let's look at the looper. We're not going to do it in full stereo because I didn't set up a full stereo rig. Sadly, the RC5 is the one in the series where the drums cannot be assigned to an extra output. I tried everything, I read the manuals, they cannot be assigned. So they're going to your amp. And that's not ideal because the drums sound shitty through a guitar amp. The guitar amp will be compressing them, and then it's fighting with the recorded guitar, the drums, and then whatever you want to noodle on top of it, all through a clean amp. It's not ideal. So see the drums as a guide, and then maybe turn them off or turn them way down. I wish I could assign them to output B. Would be nice if it could do that. It cannot. So what you're hearing is everything mono through a guitar amp. However, it can be fully stereo with stereo effects and everything. Just so you know. So you can tap the tempo. All right, that was stupid because I'm on something that already contains a loop. Oh, see what happens? If it contains a loop, it's white. If it doesn't, it's blue. So a lot of things are hooked to memory, meaning whatever in this menu happens, everything's linked to that memory location. There are very few things that are global, which is kind of sad. So whatever settings you like, in terms of count in or whatever, make a preset and copy it onto all the other presets. Spend 5 minutes doing that. It's worth it because later you don't have to fiddle with all the settings and do it every single time. So here I can tap the tempo. I can also dial in the tempo manually. Right now, rhythm is off. No light. Once you hit it, if you hit it once, it's ready now. So once I hit record, it will record with the rhythm. If you hit it again, it'll play. Through my guitar amp, it's the only way you can do it. So if you hit rhythm longer, you are in the rhythm mode. And we're going to start with that. So, I have it at 39 out of 200 because the guitar amp compresses. That's where it makes sense. You can turn the reverb up and down for the drums. Here are the patterns. Now let's go through the patterns. I know that's boring, but you signed up for a video where I show you everything, so that's what's gonna happen. So those are all the beats. I mean, it's basic stuff, okay? But it's good enough to inspire. On the RC500, you have more kits. So we're going to go through the kits. And that was it. Quite a few more on the RC500. What's a variation? Well, this. So for each of the grooves, you have variation B. And when you use an external switch to go to the variation while you're playing, you could do a different part of the song, something like this. I don't quite know how you would do that in the loop. I think you could do that while you're recording the loop. I'm not quite sure, but there are two different variations for each of the grooves. So, then the last thing, you can say what kind of beat, and that's very interesting because it's way more flexible than the RC10R, which is made for drums, but it kind of has pre-programmed grooves. These are very simple that can be altered. So you could have a 7/4, you can have a 5/8. You can have a 7/8. Very cool. Definitely way more for the prog people and the odd time people than some other products. So where does the rhythm start? When I start the loop? Yes. Or after I recorded my loop? Why not? All of a sudden the drums come in. Starts before the loop so I can start grooving with it, and then I hit record. Yes, you can do that. So we're going to do at loop start. Where does it end? Well, when the loop ends, that makes sense. Or when the recording ends, that's when it stops. Then the loop keeps playing. So you had a guide, but you don't have the loop. You don't have the drums while the loop's playing. Why not? Oh, stop, off. It never stops. Ooh, the party never stops. Record counter, that is what I need because I'm sitting here. I can't stomp on it. So I need something that counts me in. And that's what we're going to have. But remember, this is all saved per memory. So if I go to memory 3, I don't have my record counter. So I wish that was something I could set globally. Play counter, that would count you in. Let's say you're playing a song live, and before the loop starts, you hit play. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, makes sense. So you could have a count off for playing. Do you want the fills when you switch between variation A and B? Yes or no? And here, this is interesting. You can actually choose different parts. And why is that? Well, on the RC10R, people really bitched about the cymbal being there every time on the one, and it got annoying. Now you can actually pick which parts of the drum kit play. Only the kick drum. Nothing. Snare. And the pesky cymbal. So we can actually turn that off, and that is very nice. And then there's a bass EQ and a treble EQ. So that's it for the drums. We covered that. Let's go through setup. What's in general? Major, what general? Display, contrast. Why ever that is the first thing they do, I don't know. Display contrast should be way in the back because you said that once. So no clue. Boss interface designers are the best interface. No. We all know Boss and interfaces not happening, but that's why I'm here. So this is really cool. I have some clips prepared that I did on the RC500. It's the same thing. I'm going to show you. The display can show the status of what you're doing. Record, overdub, or play. Helpful if that's all you want to see. The position, where you are in the loop. If it's a free loop, no beats, no anything, it can show you the position only. The status and the position is kind of convenient if you can't read. Actually, that's a good idea for people that have color blindness, because I can see red's recording, yellow is overdub, green is play. But if you have trouble with that, seeing the status is not a bad idea. Status and the position. The number in the position would be the number of the preset. The name in the position would be the name of the preset. Then you have the beat in the position, which is the standard, and we're going to start with that. And then you have only the beat. So I think beat and position does make the most sense. So we were in general display mode. The memory X min and max. You have 99 presets. Well, do you always want to go through 99 presets? No, you can say, okay, I only want to go through the first 10. Makes total sense. When you skip through them, you don't, you're at 9, you're at 10, and you go one higher, you end up at 1 again. It makes sense to limit that to whatever you're using. Undo, redo, is that on hold or release? You could, I don't know. And that's it. Relatively simple compared to the 500, trust me. That is the setup, exactly. Wait, setup? No, That was only the general stuff. Yeah, general setup stuff. Okay, we're gonna go to control, which we also might do later. Yeah, that's all for what the pedals do. Internal pedal, control 1 and 2 for the external, which you plug in. And the expression, so if you have an expression pedal, you can actually do volumes. And then the MIDI, which is automatically set to continuous controller 80 to 87. So you got 8. Yes, 8 continuous controller, 8 different functions that are assignable. What is that stuff assignable to? So here, right now, I have this set to record, play, stop, and when you hold it in, clear. So hit it, it records. Hit it again, it'll play. Double tap, it'll stop, which is a little bit difficult with this big ass bouncy foot switch. And hold it in long to clear the loop. But you could only have it record and play. How do you stop it? You don't. You'd have to have an external foot switch, which means if you have an external foot switch, the internal foot switch could be only record and play. Makes sense. Why does it have to have all these functions? Record, play, stop. Clear happens differently. Record, play, that's what we had. Momentary record and play. So when you hold it in, it records, or when you hold it in, it plays. Play, stop. Play, stop, clear, but no record. That's, you need another foot switch for that. Or you already have all your loops in there. You don't actually want to ever record. You just want to play things. Then you set that up. Stop the track. Track, stop. What? And then this is all the stuff. You only start the rhythm or don't. Memory increase, memory decrease. You can do all of it. And all of that can also be assigned to MIDI foot switches. However, it's actually not that much because the RC500 can do way more. So if you look at what you can do with MIDI, you can do tempo up and down. Rhythm, play, stop. Rhythm level. Memory increase, memory decrease going through the presets. Memory level? I don't even know what that is. Reverse the track, do one shot, change the record option, change the dub mode, auto record. And auto record is something we also have to talk about. It's a cool function. So we're going to do play stop on 80. MIDI works on channel 1, set it up to any channel you want. Omni is on, it'll respond to any channel right now. On channel number 10, you can actually send it drum information, MIDI information. You can play the drums if you wanted that with MIDI. Receive channel, control, I don't know what, I don't know. Sync clock, it'll send MIDI sync and receive it. It'll respond to start, stop, and also trigger other loopers or devices with MIDI clock. So you could literally have 2 of these and that gives you 2 tracks, or with the RC500, the RC5 will be a 3rd track. They work together. Clock out is on, sync start, blah, 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 blah. Program change out. You can do program changey things and we're done. Come on. I know, there's boring stuff, and then storage off. I don't know what that is. Reset. Factory reset. Okay. In memory, we can set up what the loop does. Reverse, one shot. It'll play once and then stop. The level of the loop level. Record and then play, or record and then overdub. Let's do record and play. The dub mode right now is overdub, but you can also replace. Some of you might want that. I like overdub. Auto record is off, but we're going to turn that on later and I'll show you how that works. It responds to you playing guitar and that triggers the record. You can fade in the track. You can fade it out on stop. Fade in time can be set. Right now, that's important, and that should be earlier in the menu. It's free running. So whatever loop length I do, the loop length is what I do. auto, I think, would correspond to the tempo of my rhythm. So if I stop it a little bit earlier, it'll still kind of fill it up to the length of my rhythm. And then I can actually set how long it is, which could be very convenient, and then it stops automatically. Okay? We're gonna go free right now and see what happens. And that's it. Okay, so if I hit stop earlier than my rhythm stops. Let's see. We will find out. Now we know everything, and we're actually gonna do things with it. With it, the Tone King, Sky King, and this McMull Stinger, which I just got yesterday. Oh my God, look at its beauty, 2 single cores. It's a McMull for barely under $3,000. It's the first time that you can actually get a McMull in that price range. I know it's still quite expensive, but oh my God, is it good. So, the reverb is coming from the sidekick from Crazy Tube Circuits, which is in front of it. So, in terms of looper placement, I would always put it kind of almost at the end of your board, so whatever you're doing gets recorded into the loop, and the loop does not go through your reverb or delay or whatever, or even overdrive, because then everything you record would go through there. Just food for thought. Let's go minor this time. So, if I just hit record now, what happens? Pedal wasn't doing what it was supposed to do because I said it wrong. Also, do you notice how that screen is a tiny bit crooked? Should be a little bit straighter, just saying. So, let's see. So I actually hit stop a beat earlier. It didn't care. It finished it. And that's kind of how you would want it. Why would you all of a sudden want that, cut? So how do I get it to completely run free? So I'm going to turn the drums off completely. No, not like that. So I guess I have to go, don't have a count in. Okay. So it kind of tries to look at what you're doing and I think determine the tempo from that. But we're going to try by simply giving it a different tempo. roughly. I mean, the drums were kind of roughly there. Let's see. I'll try this one more time. Well, you can see the light blinking is kind of the right tempo, but I'm clearly fluctuating there. So yeah, you can of course play loops completely freely. But the really cool thing is to have a count in. Part 1. No. Wait, what am I looking at? Play count, record count. Should I be mean to myself and go 7/8? I haven't done 7/8 in a long time. Come on, let's do it. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to the loop. Not auto record, start, fade time, measure. There we go. Why is it at the very end? I'm gonna do 4 measures. Okay, and the tempo. It's about right. Let's go to an even 98. So now I'm gonna figure something out. I'll try that. So it's waiting for me now, and it should count me in. I had a major 7 on the G. Don't do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And because I set a 4 measure limit, it immediately stopped recording. So I didn't really have to hit the pedal to start. It had a count in, and it automatically stopped. So now I have a beautiful 7/8 something, I don't know, 4 chord stepping down. Let's dub that. So there you go. Relatively easy, even in 7/8, whatever 8, with the count in and an automatic shut off at the end. So we're gonna. This beautiful piece of music has been erased. So I keep my count in. No, I don't keep my count in. I don't. So I hit a rhythm. We go way back here. There we go. Turn the count in off. I'm going to go to memory. Auto record on. There we go. Want that off. Now I can trigger recording technically just by playing. Oh yeah, I kind of have to get it into record ready mode. I guess it's ready. Another way to do this, let me see if that works. First of all, we're going to change the rhythm back to 4/4. There we go. We're going to go funk. Let's listen to that. So I'm setting it before loop. Let's see what happens if I can actually jam along with that. So I'll turn that on. So now it's waiting for me to play because I set it to auto start. So what just happened? I literally don't know. Okay, you get the general idea. Yeah, that's how that works. Obviously, you can do things that are beautifully ambient if you wanted that. Let's go. Yes, you can also, as you just heard, change the tempo later. So you record something and then change the tempo. The time stretching algorithm is horrible. It doesn't sound good. I can't recommend it. There are other devices on the market that do that relatively well. But recording something at a certain tempo and then changing it here, what you get is gobble, 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 gooble. Not a good idea to do that. Stay at the tempo that you recorded it in, okay? Boss's time stretch algorithm, poo-poo. So I am ready for it. And I'm just going to put some crap on there. So that leaves us to do two things, to look at external switching and MIDI switching. Relatively simple. The external switch happens with any kind of switch. I have a Boss switch here because that was mentioned in the manual. Relatively simple. It's a FS7. Have it on polarity 1 and on momentary. Use a TRS cable. Plug it into the side of the damn thing, where you plug in the control. Now Leslie's gonna yell at me because I moved the pedal. Sorry. And now in setup, control 1 is track reverse. We can leave that. Control 2 is track stop. Let's do track play stop. Done. So, So, how did I bring the drums back in? Good question. I'm gonna unplug this. And MIDI. I hooked up MIDI in to the MIDI out of my AirStep. There, Exonic AirStep. Bluetooth operated thing, easy to program. And I've got 5 switches. And they do, well, we can simply look up what they do by going to control. Expression pedal would do track level 2. Okay, continuous controller 80, which is my first switch, would do play stop. 81 will do reverse. Tap tempo is 82. I haven't tried that. 83 will do rhythm play stop, so I can turn the drums on and off. And the 84, don't touch that, it'll clear the track. I will try it, come on. So we have play stop, and then I forgot it again. Reverse, tap tempo, rhythm, play stop, and clear. You can do tons of things. The important thing is, the manual doesn't tell you that. Thank you, Karel from Belgium, from Boss. He told me this. In order for this to function, you have to send a burst of information, meaning on continuous controller number 80, you have to send 127 and then send continuous controller 80 again at 0. So it's full blast and then nothing. That is the on signal. It's like, hello, nothing. Okay, so send 127 and then do a second message sending 80. Sadly, that uses up 2 MIDI signals or 2 MIDI messages that you have to program and send. With the AirStep, it's easy. On button push, I can say, do this one, and then on button push again, do this one. I can add several MIDI messages. Depending on your MIDI controller, you might not be able to do that. And that just cleared the track. So all of them work. Once I found out how to send the burst, and once I found out I need the Boss cable, it was relatively easy to do. Thank you, Leslie. So for under $200, you get a looper that essentially is what many bigger loopers are, just smaller. It's fully stereo, killer. It can memorize 99 presets, 13 hours of loops. If you want to, you can grab the loops with USB on your computer as files and then use them in your DAW. It has rhythms as a guide, which is fine, way more inspiring than playing by yourself. It starts with touch sensitivity control, auto start, has odd time signatures. Have I mentioned that it's fully stereo? And with the addition of external foot switches, this becomes really valuable. With one foot switch on itself, it's like, you can't really do a lot. You couldn't do reverse. You have to go into menus and turn shit on and off. But add 2 more, it's interesting. Add MIDI with 8 more assignable functions. And that means 1 foot switch, 2 analog ones, and 8 MIDI. This is a fully featured looper that eats up this much space on your pedal board. So I can bitch about a crooked screen. I can bitch about you need the proprietary MIDI cable. Or a Type A cable. I can bitch about many things. However, it's €190 and packs a ton of functions. It's built like a tank. It's Boss. And I don't think anything else right now. I mean, I don't know all the loopers out there, but I've looked at a few. I've reviewed a few. I've done many that I filmed for Thomann. This is a good box. Do not buy it and not read the manual. This video is a start. Read the manual, go back to it. You have to learn which of the damn buttons you have to hold in. You have to learn where what is hidden. And then it doesn't make sense that because display contrast is the first thing in the menu. Boss, interface designers, please go to school. There's a psychology about how we think and what we need and what we do, and you go against it every single time. However, it's still a good product. That's what I'm saying, and not because I'm paid. I made it through this video. I'm happy. Thank you, Leslie. And we're going to put links below. That's very important for you to follow them and use them because I make money on the links. So if you want to support all these shenanigans, please use the links. And as always, we put animals at the end because they're cool.